Well, my skin is terrible. I'm really itchy right now and I've had an alcoholic beverage, so should I be filming this right now? Probably not. Are we gonna do it anyway? Yeah. Hi, my name is Lily and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my November wrap up, which is going to be a bit of a ride for me because it's been an eventful month. And yeah, that's why I've had some alcohol before filming this. Not loads, I don't really drink. I've had one drink, which is enough for me to feel a little bit buzzy. And when I say one drink, I mean one shot of a spirit in a pint of Diet Coke. So I am a weakling, but it's fine. I've got another one going for the video because once I start, I was like, I may as well have a second one. So I'm just gonna get straight into this wrap up. I think I've read 9 books this month and it's been really mixed. I've got the full range from 1 star up to 5 stars, but not a 2-star actually. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It was an okay reading month. I wish I'd read more, but I had a lot of challenges this month stopping me from reading quite so much. Did you come to say hello? Did you come to say hello? You pretty? Are you pretty? Can I put you down now? Ooh, purring. The first book I read this month is Northchild by Edith Patu. I've spoken about this book loads on the channel and I really do love it, and this reread has really reinforced me that I love it just as much as I thought I did. It's stood the test of time and yeah, I am very, very happy. I gave it 5 stars again. This was a buddy read with my friend Livy, who also really liked it, and I am now reading the second book. Northchild is about, oh my god, what's her name? Rose. Northchild is about a girl called Rose. Her mum is incredibly superstitious and believes that the direction in which you were born influences your personality and your future. So she wants to have a child born at every point of the compass except north, because she was told that her child born facing north would die crushed under snow and ice. And then one of her children dies. She decides to replace this compass point by having another child, and that child was Rose. But Rose was secretly born facing north, which was kept a secret from her for years. Then one day a polar bear appears at their door and says that if Rose comes away with him, that he can solve all of the family's problems, including curing her sister who is really sick and turning their fortunes around. So it's an adventure book, it's got a romance in it, it's really sweet and really cute. It's kind of a middle grade young adult bridging book. It's not quite middle grade, not quite young adult. So it's a really good book for in between there, and I really, really love it. It's really good, really wintry, and yeah. Next I read You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. I almost entirely read this via audiobook on Scribd, and that audiobook is really good actually. This is a young adult contemporary with a female-female romance in it. It's about a young girl who I've also forgotten the name of, Liz. This is about Liz who needs a scholarship to be able to go to college because America is messed up, and she doesn't get the scholarship she's expecting to, which was a musical scholarship. So in her hometown she can run for prom queen, and if she gets prom queen she gets a scholarship. But to run for prom queen she has to go through all of these basically like trials and like do volunteering and play a football game, and I don't know, it was really weird. I really enjoyed it. It was fun, it was a relatively quick read, and it was quite light-hearted most of the time. I really liked the friendship between Liz and her male friend and her little group of girlfriends, and I really liked the romance in it. It was really cute, and it was a good little breakup between the prom stuff and all that tension at college, so that was really nice. I only gave it 4 stars though because it felt really, really unrealistic. I don't know if it's just the British in me speaking, but the amount of stuff they did to get in the rankings for prom queen didn't feel like how I understood prom queen to work. And it was just little things like that where it felt like this school had too much money for a public school. Like their prom, the goodie bags had AirPods in them. Is that a thing in America? Am I just being naive? Is that a thing in America? It felt really unrealistic, which is why I gave it 4 stars. But it was still a really, really great read, really kept me hooked, so it was still highly recommend it. Next on my list is A Kind of Spark by Elle McNichol. This is the most wonderful middle grade, and it's got such a beautiful cover, and I would just say please read this. This is an Own Voices autistic rep book. It's about a young girl named Addie who lives in a small little village in Scotland. In her village, hundreds of years ago, witches were tried and executed, and when she finds this out, she wants to create a memorial for them because she sees herself in these witches, because she believes they were persecuted because they were different, and Addie is autistic and feels like she is also kind of treated differently because she's autistic. And the whole book is about this journey for her trying to get the memorial for the witches, but also trying to get the people in her school and in her village to accept her for who she is. It's really great. There's a good mixture of like light-hearted sweet moments and quite heavy let's talk about what's going on here moments. I really like the fact that they had a young autistic girl, and then they also had Addie's older sister, who I'm assuming must be like late teens, I think, or early 20s, because she's at university and is also autistic. That was a really lovely balance, and I really liked to see the different representations and seeing them talk to each other and be like buddies in autism, so that was really sweet. Really loved the rep in it. I did find it a little bit triggering at times because there is some sort of abuse towards her for being autistic, but I think it's necessary to put that in there in the way that it was in there to show kids that it's not okay. If I haven't said already, this is a middle grade, so it's really, really good. A really, really short read as well, so I'd highly recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. The next one I'm going to talk about is Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Yes. And this one really took me by surprise. So I wasn't sure if I was going to like this because I've heard really mixed things. And the first, I want to say half or 40%, I really hated it. And I was considering DNFing, but I really wanted to find out what was happening. And basically this is about 2 cousins. Noemi lives in urban Mexico. I can't remember which city. It might be New Mexico, I can't remember. But she lives in a city, and her cousin Catalina has recently married and has moved to the countryside with her husband. And she gets a letter one day basically saying that they're trying to hurt her and to come and save her. So Noemi, on the instruction of her father, heads out to this beautiful, enormous house in the countryside to see what's going on with her cousin. And when she gets there, she finds out things are very strange and unsettling. This is an old, like, English manor house built in the middle of Mexico. And the whole family is very quiet and very strange. She doesn't feel like she can trust anyone. She finds out that Catalina's been very ill. She's a bit skeptical about what's really going on versus what they're telling her. And it's very atmospheric, very creepy. It's a horror, but it's not really horror until the last half. The first half is kind of like historically drama-y. And I didn't vibe with the first half. I got really, really bored. I was waiting for something to happen. I wasn't sure who I could trust yet. But then the big reveal happens about halfway through, where you find out part of what's going on. And that's when the pace really picks up, and I really flew through the rest of it. I loved it so much. I think I ended up giving this one 4 stars just because the first half was a bit slow for me. I need a drink before I talk about the next one. The next one, I didn't actually read all of it, but I'm counting it because it took a lot out of me, and I'm not going to even show you the cover of it because you don't need to know about it because it's not getting published anymore. It was Finding Sam, a horrific... I've had some drink. It's a horrifically ableist book that has been pulled from publication after me and some friends highlighted how awful it is. So I've included that on my list because it took a lot of emotional energy and I felt like it should go on the list for that alone. The next one I read purely because I wanted to get another audiobook out of script before I cancelled it, and this one was only like 2 hours long, and that was Verandan by J.R.R. Tolkien. Can you even see that? It's really hard to show this one on camera. But this is the little pocket edition of it, and I mean the bigger version would be very tiny as well because this is a very, very short book. This is kind of like a middle grade bedtime story style book about a dog who upsets a wizard, so the wizard turns him into a toy dog, and through that he ends up going on various adventures like to the moon and stuff. It sounds better than it is. I think this book could go down really, really well with the middle grade age group, and I think it would be a really great bedtime story to read to kids, but as an older person, or adult I guess you could say, reading this, I got really bored. It is very, very repetitive, and like the same story happens a few times almost identically. It was really strange. I think there was meant to be some kind of message in there, but I couldn't figure it out, if I'm being honest with you. I only gave it 3 stars. It was still okay. The idea was really imaginative and I really liked the characters in it, but the story was really lacking for me. Now, the next one, I wasn't sure if I was going to talk about it because I'm embarrassed by it, and I think I'm talking to you about it because I've had a drink and I get a little, just like one drink loosens me up a little bit, so here we are. So the next book I read was Erotica by Lucy Lennox. This is a male-male erotica, and it's really bad. I think I was a bit generous and gave it 3 stars, and it 100% doesn't deserve it, but the thing is, it's not like terrible because they are really readable, but I can't give it more than 3 stars. That's just not okay in my head, because honestly this kind of erotica is really problematic for a start because it heavily fetishizes gay men, but it's my guilty pleasure, this author, because her writing style I find really comforting when I'm really depressed. It's basically all of her books have the same trope where you have these 2 characters who are like damaged and sad and lonely, and when they get into a relationship together everything is like fixed and they feel better, and that releases endorphins in my brain, which is why I read them. I honestly find the sex scenes quite creepy. I often will skim them because I don't like them. I purely read it for the plot, which is a bit strange for erotica. So this one, what was this one about? I mean, there's not much to it. Basically, this is the final book. When I found out it was the final one, I like shed a tear because I love this series for that plot alone. This is the final book in the Wild Love series, which is about a massive family of brothers who all happen to be gay, falling in love with their various partners. This one's about Cal, who I think is the youngest of the brothers, and he is what's it called? A captain of ships. He like people can hire him to captain their ships. I can't remember what the term is. It was, you get me. So Cal was working in, like, where is he working? The West Indies? Jamaica? That kind of area, and the Caribbean, that's what it's called, that's what that area is called. He was working in the Caribbean. He picks up a guy at a club and the guy says, oh, I own this big boat, you could come captain it for me, but also I think you're really hot, let's do it. And they get back to the boat and they do it, and then in the morning it turns out that guy doesn't own this boat, it's his like brother-in-law's boat. So he makes Cal hide in the wardrobe and says like, oh, I'll distract everyone and then I can help you sneak out. But he never does. And the owner of the boat finds him in his wardrobe and says, okay, well, you're here now, so we're gonna have to come up with a cover story for you because I'm a nice man. And he basically ends up staying on this boat for the like 2 weeks that the family sails around, and bonds with them, and obviously falls in love with the guy who owns the boat. Not even a spoiler, it's erotica, you know it's coming. So yeah, it was bad, but it is good nonsense reading. If I'm gonna be honest with you, it's good when you're not feeling great to read those kinds of books. And the final book I finished this month was The Knife Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. I decided to pick this up eventually because the Chaos Walking trailer was finally released, which meant the movie must be coming soon, and I was like, oh damn, I was meant to be reading these before the movie, so I should probably get to that. So I listened to this one over on audiobook. I don't think I've even opened this book, but never mind. And I really loved this. It was so good, much gorier than I was expecting. I didn't really have much expectations going in, I'm gonna be honest with you, but it was much darker than I was expecting. The Chaos Walking series is about a planet called New Hope, I think, and on this planet everyone can hear the thoughts of all men and animals, but not the women. At the beginning of the book, what's the character's name? Todd. At the beginning of the book, Todd finds a patch of silence, and in his town he's led to believe they are the only town on the planet and that all the women died because of the plague that made them all hear each other's thoughts. But in the swamp he finds a patch of quiet, which shouldn't be possible, and his guardians tell him that he needs to run away because if the rest of the town finds out he knows this, he could get killed. So he goes on the run and meets up with the girl who created the noise, and it's a really good adventure story, survival story, and it has his dog Manchi in it. It's really, really good. I gave this one 5 stars. I loved it so much, but also cried a little bit because it's really hard to read at times. But I think it's really clever, really creative. I never really knew where it was going, and I really appreciated that. I was always surprised by the twists and turns in this book. I tried to come up with theories, but I wasn't that successful. Okay, so those are all the books I read in November, I think. If I've missed any, then I don't know, they may get put in the December TBR, not TBR, wrap up, but we'll find out. It is actually the 30th of November today, but I'm not going to finish another book today. Like, look at the state of me. This person is not going to finish a whole book when I'm only like 10% of the way through any of the books I'm reading right now, so it's fine. So yeah, let me know down in the comments if you have any thoughts on the books that I read. Please, please, please don't spoil me for the rest of the Chaos Walking series because I am still reading it. I've never read it before. Or just don't spoil me for any series that I tell you I'm reading, to be honest with you, but that one especially right now because I feel like everyone's read it except me. So if you like this video, please give it a like and consider subscribing down below to see more content from me. All of my links to my social medias are down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!